Hello, everybody. Welcome back. So we're just going to be wrapping up this project right now. I've gone ahead and I've sent my project over to the 3D printer, and I popped it out and cleaned it up a little bit. And this is what we got. All right, so there's our final product. You can see it's actually pretty big, right? Remember that we've based this one here off of a radius of about 50 millimeters or so, or about 2 inches. And so when you double that out, you get something that's almost 4 inches in diameter, right? Because that was a radius, right? So you get about 4 inches in diameter. You can kind of see where it almost will hit your hand, all right, based on the size of your hand. Now let's compare that even size to one of these guys here, my smaller one, and you can see it's a pretty significant difference. You can kind of see them spinning. And when you take this one out, you can even see, how much more room you have in here. And again, it's just the size of your hand, how you like to play with them, how much room you want, so on and so forth. But it works out pretty well. I find that this is on really the larger size that people will want. Side notes on 3D printing, by the way. After you import this into whatever software you're using, I'm using MakerBot, so I have a MakerBot desktop software. I make sure I verify the size first. After that, what I did was, because of the material, there's a real slight shrinkage, and I made everything the same exact size as the metal pieces going in. So if you go and you try to force them in, a lot of times you're going to have to hammer it to get it in. I don't know if you can kind of see. I'll kind of get out of the way. See a little crack in there? All right. So you can actually see that I've actually managed to crack this when I forced these in. This one I did the exact size. So all I did was print it at 101%. And that allowed me to actually pop these things in by hand, and there's still enough friction that it holds tight. It's not loose and it's not coming out. So it works really well. So if you're going ahead and printing these, you really want to go, especially for something that's this size, for the spinners anyway, printing them at that 101% works very well. So next steps. So now you have a basic spinner you can use, which is great, all right? But now you want to try to get something a little more custom, all right? So do you want to get something with a little bit more decent shape here? Here's another one that we've been working on. Here's a Batman one, all right? This Batman one, we actually have one that has holes in it here, and we've cut some rod for counterweights. Actually, one of the kids has that one right now. So that's where we are. And remember, we can just keep moving up, and I've already showed you this one, with different cutouts. We are zebras here, so there's zebras. So there's a lot that you can do, and these are all the ones I showed you before, all ones that kids did too, so that's kind of neat. So now, where do we go from here? We're really looking towards, how do you customize this, and what is the most important thing to remember? Remember, when you start designing, I want you to design on paper first, kind of get a good layout, and try to think about what would look really cool. I'm also going to be showing you how to go in and sort of trace images of other objects, right, in Inventor to get more complex shapes, like that little Batman one we had next time out. And try to just remember that when you're designing these, you have to have that radial balance, okay? So these are offset by 3, and that's why I made them that way, where I made the one arm first, and then I went ahead and additively, all right, patterned that. If you take a look at something like this one, when you plan to make it, we've actually started with a circle and then actually made a cutout here on that circle, and then we made a pattern of that cutout, all right? And we actually took that and patterned that 6 times to get that. So you can actually do that in terms of subtractive modeling as well too. All right, so just final tips on how to 3D print. So I'm going to be back next time in this series with a little bit more complex shapes and how we can actually create something a little more unique. So I'll see you all next time.